Well, well, well. You degenerates keep crawling back for more, don't you? Good, because today I've got some top-tier degenerate stuff for you to enjoy. The brand is Noctua Watch Corp. Although corporation might be a stretch because I'm pretty sure this brand is run by just one single person. I think that's awesome. You'll notice that a lot of content and discussions online are just mindless complaints about nothing, and it gets old quick. With the Noctua Watch Corp, what we have is a man who had a vision and took action to make it happen. He became the change he wished to see in the community. Regardless of what you think about the watches featured in this video, that alone deserves respect. Now onto the watches. After all that praise towards the company, are they even any good? The short answer is yes. The two that I have are the Zulu GMT and the Sentinel. Full disclaimer, these watches were not sent in for free, nor are they on loan. These are my watches that I bought myself. Does that mean I'm better or more reliable than other watch reviewers? Yes it does. Retail for the Zulu is $510, and the Sentinel is $445. And before you storm off at these prices, I will say that there are often discounts readily available. Fortunately for me, I was able to take advantage of their 40% off Cyber Monday sale and got both for around $560 total. Obviously, the brand can't survive long-term with 40% discounts, but Big Daddy Degenerate here was able to get you all 25% off. Use the code DEGENERATE25 if you're looking to buy from Noctua. Using that code will bring both watches down to around the $300 price range, which I think is more appropriate for an independent microbrand. I don't get any kickbacks or commission if you use the code. My channel is also not monetized, and I literally get paid $0 to do this. All I'm saying is if you're gonna support anyone, support a fellow degenerate watch addict. A portion of his profits goes to wounded veterans in both Canada and the United States as well, and I can get down with that. Back to the watches. Off the rip, the first impressions are good. The fit, finish, density, and heft are on par with big name brands. And the hardware is everything you'd expect from a generally accepted good quality watch. Both come with sapphire crystals, automatic Seiko movements, applied lume, screw down crown and case backs, and all that basic bitch stuff you'd usually look for. And the added bonus? Both have drilled lugs. Such a small detail shouldn't make me so happy, but I don't know what to tell you. It does. I guess when it comes to watches, the tiniest holes make the biggest difference. Giggity. Something that caught my attention immediately was how surprisingly thin the Zulu is. GMTs in this price range are usually on the thicker side, but the Zulu breaks that mold both on paper and in visual presentation. Also, the bead blasted finish is outstanding. I say this as someone who hates bead blasted finishing. I think it's dull, boring, and ruins the natural beauty of steel. But on this watch, it just works, and I'm glad I decided to give it a chance. Going back to the dimensions real quick, here they are. The Sentinel seems like a thicker watch, but that's just because of the dome crystal. The case itself is around 13 millimeters thick, and that's a more accurate representation of how it feels on the wrist. I was expecting the Sentinel to be a modern execution of the Seiko Spork, but looking at them side by side, I don't think so anymore. While there certainly are similarities, there's also some differences that are apparent enough to where if you want a Spork, you won't find it here. I don't think that's a bad thing or a good thing. It's just information to take home and chew on. I'm only mentioning it because I've heard the Spork and Noctua watches in the same sentence a few times before, and I'm just not seeing it. However, at its core, it does have the spirit of Seiko. The bezel and crown action feel almost identical to comparable Prospex models, and the engine is the proven NH35 Alpha movement. The dial is clean. I see a little bit of Bell & Ross and some Panerai. and overall it's a style that I like because it's straightforward but not boring. The surrounding brushed riot is also nice, as I find that it balances out the polished case sides. The bracelet looks good and feels good. It has the appropriate amount of taper from the end link to the clasp and remains comfortable throughout the day. The clasp is a dual push-button deploying clasp, with the added feature of on-the-fly adjustments for those hot days or if you had to put it over a wetsuit. Purely from a personal preference, I am not a fan of the bezel insert. There's nothing wrong with it, but I think an aluminum insert would have been perfect. There's a lot of classic military Vietnam War era design cues here, and the cheap, tinny aesthetic quality from aluminum would have been more fitting. While I didn't have that kind of bezel on hand, I did have a steel one, so you already know I had to modify it. Dudes, I cannot tell you enough how fucking awesome this thing is. The cold, lifeless qualities of steel is unbeatable, and fits right in with the machined edges of the bezel and crown. It straight up looks like a professional piece of kit designed for precision equipment. JP, if you're listening, I won't be upset if you take this idea and make it a part of your catalog. I don't need any royalties. I'm happy with the simple fact of knowing that my degeneracy is spreading further. Obviously, we all know what the Zulu is inspired from. With that being said, it's very much its own thing. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and take a risk by saying something crazy, but I think this is a perfect military watch. Sure, G-Shocks and basic quartz digitals are superior, but I'm saying if we're sticking to analog automatic watches, this one is perfect. Functionally, it has dual time zones and a date, perfect for operational planning. The lume game is on point. A lot of operations happen in the dark, and having quick access to the time is important. It's got the muted bead-blasted finish, so that's one less thing that could possibly reflect light and give away your position. That finishing absorbs bumps and scratches excellently, so it's perfect for the harsher environments of, say, something like a C-130, tank, sub, ship, etc. Another benefit is that it makes the surfaces much smoother than a typical steel watch, so it doesn't stick to the skin on those particularly hot and muggy days. Lastly, the size is just right for all wrist sizes, and thin enough to be comfortable during the various pushing or pulling movements that occur daily during the course of a deployment. I know that JP, the owner of Noctua, markets his watches more towards his military audience, and to that end he did a great job holding up his end of the deal. There's no tactical gimmick here, it's just a straightforward watch that does what it needs to do. However, the Zulu still taps into that enthusiast enjoyment factor. The chapter ring has Japanese numbers, which is a nod of respect to Seiko, as well as a tribute to the deep historical ties between the West and Japan. Little Easter eggs like this add to the experience in a good way, without getting in the way. I'm not one to buy into microbrand hype, but the Zulu is a fucking winner. I would recommend this to every service member looking for a tool watch. And I'd also recommend it to every civilian badass who didn't join because they'd beat up their drill instructor. My hat's off to JP and the Noctua Watch Corporation. If these watches came from a big name brand, I would have been happy. Instead, they're coming from a one-man operation. A fellow degenerate just like you and me. There are far too many useless mouth breathers in our community that sit around and offer nothing and frankly don't deserve to be here. People like JP are the ones who make it better. Regardless of what you think about his watches, at least he's trying to do something. With Noctua, there's no virtue signaling, no self-righteousness, and no incestuous pandering to whatever bullshit narrative the rest of the world is trying to push. Here, there are only watches fueled by enthusiasm and a level of quality built on a foundation of pure passion. This is degeneracy at its finest. That is all. Stay classy. I sure as hell won't.